Good day, you're watching Leadership TV News. I am Cynthia Onwado. The Anambra State Governor, Chukwueze Soludo, has defended the one-week closure of the Onitsha main market, insisting that the state will not submit to an illegal sit-at-home order that has crippled economic activities every Monday. Speaking at a news conference on Thursday, the governor expressed frustration that traders continued to comply with the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB imposed sit-at-home directive despite repeated warnings by the state government. Soludo rejected suggestions that Anambra could function as a 4-day work or school week state, describing the idea as unrealistic and damaging to the future of the state. He said schools should, or rather would not be exempt from sanctions if they remain closed on Mondays, stressing that education must not be sacrificed. According to him, Monday remains the most important business day of the week, particularly for commercial hub like Anambra, mourning that sustained closures will drive traders, suppliers, and investors to neighboring states. The governor described the sit-at-home as a calculated act of economic sabotage aimed at weakening one of Nigeria's strongest sub-national economies. He said the government had a constitutional responsibility to protect lives, livelihood, and economic stability, adding that the mandate given to his administration by the people could not be abandoned. Soludo warned that prolonged compliance with the order would steadily erode Anambra's economic base and future competitiveness. He said the decision to close the Onitsha main market was meant to send a strong message that the state would no longer tolerate actions that undermine lawful authority. The sit-at-home directive was introduced in 2021 by the prescribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, to protest the detention of its leader, Nnamdi Kano, but later evolved into a weekly shutdown across parts of the southeast. Moving on now in the news, the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, in the northern states has rejected calls by the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria for the removal of the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amupiton. In a statement on Thursday, the Northern CAN challenged the Sharia Council to publicly identify those behind the demand, warning against using religion as a tool to intimidate public officials or pursue political interests. The association described the call as a dangerous attempt to politicize religion and undermine a critical democratic institution. Khan insisted that Professor Amupiton's alleged acknowledgement of Christian persecution in a previous legal brief does not amount to bias or disqualify him from office, noting that freedom of religion and expression are constitutionally guaranteed. The group argued that several Muslims had previously held sensitive public offices with clear religious backgrounds without facing similar scrutiny. Northern Khan also raised concerns that the controversy reinforced long-standing complaints of religious discrimination against Christians, particularly in appointments to key national positions. It questions narratives suggesting that only adherents of a particular faith are qualified to lead the electoral body. The association commended President Bola Tinubu for appointing a Christian INEC chairman despite being a Muslim, describing the decision as as inclusive and statesmanlike. The Christian Association also urged Professor Amupiton to remain focused on his mandate and not be distracted by what it described as religious blackmail. The group also warned of emerging political maneuvers ahead of the 2027 general election, cautioning that framing national politics around religious identity could threaten Nigeria's unity and democratic stability. And moving on now, the Kano state government says the lingering emirship crisis in the state will soon be resolved through dialogue and peaceful engagement. Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Waya, gave the reassurance while briefing journalists in Kano on Thursday. He said Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf's administration remained committed to the rule of law, dialogue, and respect for traditional institutions. The emirship dispute began in May 2024 2024 following the reinstatement of Muhammadu Sanusi II as Emir of Kano after a repeal of the law that created additional emirates under the previous administration. YS said the government would not allow the issue to generate further tension or disrupt governance. He also spoke on Governor Yusuf's recent defection to the All Progressives Congress, APC, describing it as a strategic move that would attract more federal support and development projects to Kano. On the deputy governor's decision not to defect, YS said it was a personal choice that had not affected unity within the government. He urged residents to remain calm as efforts to ensure peace and development continues. Now to sports news. Super Eagles winger Samuel Chukwueze has lost his mother. The death was confirmed on Thursday by his brother David Chukwueze through emotional posts on social media. He described their mother as his forever love and said she passed without saying goodbye. The family has not disclosed the cause of death, though sources say she had been ill for some time. Chukwueze, who is currently on loan from AC Milan to Fulham, reportedly traveled between England and Italy early in the season as she received treatment. The loss comes days after Super Eagles captain Wilfred Ndidi also lost his father in a road accident. Despite personal challenges, Chukwueze recently featured for Nigeria at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations and has since returned to his club action, scoring for Fulham. Finally, now on entertainment news, Nollywood actress Angela Kore has been remanded at the Suleja Correctional Center in Niger State following her arraignment over alleged cyber-related offenses. Okore was arrested in Lagos on Tuesday and later transferred to Abuja by operatives of the Nigerian Police Force and National Cybercrime Center. The Lagos State Police Command confirmed the development on Wednesday. Filmmaker Ajemba Stanley, a close associate of the actress, said she was charged to court and subsequently remanded. In social media posts, Stanley criticized the handling of the case, describing it as an abuse of power and urging authorities to allow due legal process. While police are yet to officially disclose the charges, industry sources suggest the case may be linked to Okore's public feud with fellow actress Mercy Johnson. The dispute intensified last year following controversial comments made online by Okore. As at the time of filing this report, no further details have been released by the police or Okore's legal team. Well, that's all the news we have for you on Leadership TV. For more of our news stories, you can log on to our website, www.leadership.ng. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have